Meanwhile, the DA says it's all systems go for this weekend's elections. It's the first time the party's federal council will be called upon to vote outside of Congress. Our reporter Hetikani Magwedze reports.
The resignation of Mmusi Maimane and Ethel Trollip has thrown the DA into unfamiliar territory at a time where it's desperate for a leader.
Since the DA was formed in mid-year 2000, I think June, July 2000, we actually never had this situation. It's the first time for all of us. We normally go to Congress and elect, and then they all set their full term. So it is a first time since then.
While this is unconventional for the party, it may just benefit the technical teams in getting ready for the early elective Congress next year.
There are always lessons to learn from something that comes suddenly. I think this was a great exercise for us to make sure our structures on the ground are elected properly and that all the vacancies were filled. So it eases up the road to the Congress next year, a much easier road. So we're now back to membership audits and stuff like that.
Ordinarily, Congress, which involves a wider range of members, elects leaders. Under these circumstances, the party's federal council takes on that responsibility.
We also have members of parliament that represent MPs from the provinces on the federal council. So what you would have in this case is that the voters' roll could make up a total of about 160 to 166. Now, I remember last time I said we have about 150 delegates and we only had 138 votes. So what happens is if the structures didn't constitute properly or elected, then obviously they forfeit that seat at this council. And also, if people don't pitch, then obviously there are less.
With Makashule Ghana and John Steenhuisen as the only two in the running for the political leader position, the voting process for the seat is a simple one. For the position of federal chair, however, there's a different approach.
It's a bit different on the interim chairperson ballot because we have three nominees. We have Noma French Mbombu, we have Dr. Ivan Meyer, and we also have Kumira Malufi. So there they have to vote for all three. And there they will vote. Your first choice will be the person you put on top. And then your second choice and your third choice. It's a ranking order.
Before voting processes commence on Sunday, candidates will be allowed 3 minutes to convince voters to side with them. But no bad-mouthing is allowed.
We have a code that is relevant to the internal elections in the party. And one has to remember that we're all colleagues of the same organization. So obviously you must work on your strength and tell people why you are the better candidate. We haven't had, in all the years that I've been here, that we had a case where we had to cancel somebody on the ballot papers, which is very good. It's democracy. We don't throw chairs and all those funny things when we go and vote.
Much like the IEC processes, the party says it's taken serious steps to maintain the integrity of the elections.
This is a voting building, never mind a voting station. So there are very, very restricted access. Nobody can enter this building on Sunday if you are not on the register to come and vote or attend the Federal Council. So yes, it is quiet, and people will have to take their ballots with their IDs. They must be able to identify themselves. I mean, I can't know everybody in all the provinces. So they will be, then get their 2 ballots. Ballots are sealed.
How fast is this process usually?
Well, with 160 odd delegates, I think we always allow more than enough time. We've always finished voting and counting long before the time allocated was finished.
Whoever is elected in the interim this weekend can rest assured to have all the powers bestowed on a traditional leader.
If you elect an interim leader, the leader will be the leader of the party until we go to Congress. So whatever the duties are as prescribed in our constitution, that person will fulfill that duties. And the very same with the chairperson of the party. They will fulfill at full the duties of the federal chairperson. So there's no lesser duty or responsibility only because it's an interim period. The interim period is mainly because we're not at Congress.
With the dramatic weeks that have plagued the DA recently, the elections may just bring a much-needed quiet before the elective Congress storm starts to brew next year. The current silence in this voting hall will be intensified come election day with added anxiety for the candidates. But apart from the fact that this is uncharted waters for the DA, the moment will also be pressured, as this is also a battle of ideas. For Newsroom Africa on Channel 405, I'm Hetikani Magwedze in Johannesburg.